Hello, and at long last, welcome back. It's been a while. I've been quite caught up in 1.2 shenanigans. But now finally have a bit of time off. So, I figure now would be a great time to actually do a bit of Twitch streaming again. So, I think last time we verified that we basically couldn't re-enter with that fake thing. With subsonic rated parts, or supersonic rated parts, we would need spaceplane rated parts. So what we might look at is, instead of sort of the fever dream of the A4B/A9, the A4B of course is more sensible than the A9, we might do something based more on what von Braun sketched out in 1948. Although I think that want to do that? Yeah, I think we're going to need to put a bulbous nose on the front of this, perhaps. Thanks. Okay. Man, it's been a long time. Not quite long enough. Yeah, that looks kind of dopey. I guess we'll stay with that. Okay. No, this is not a new campaign. This is me going back to the 1940 space program thing that I'd been messing around with before. All right, now we need a bit more here. I think. That looks about right. All right. This needs to be longer, probably. And a little wider. And sharp. All right. Oops, now that looks a little weird. Maybe sharp 2. Yeah, sharp 2 is better. All right. So that's acceptable. Oh, you know, I guess we should do that instead. What is its thermal rating? 1600K. Well, that's going to be tight. Structural. That's not enough burn time. Alright, so we'll have to go with some other kind of engine, I guess. Might use these, actually. They're approximately correct performance for the time. It's going to need to be inside a interstage of some sort. Hmm. 1.8 and 0.8. Oops. And put this on here. All right. So let's go with a nice 3 minutes of burn time. I think we want conic. And let's try this. That looks weird. Auto shape. looks about right. Come on. There we are. Interesting that it's transparent. Okay, so we're up to, how much is this unladen? 1 ton, not bad. Now, also need to we'll put in a couple HTP tanks for RCS. Filled cylinder. Fuselage. Let's go with that. And how many liters is that each? 24 liters. All right, that's acceptable. So let's put on some retros. Okay. High test peroxide. Tech level 0. They have execrable specific impulse, but that's to be expected. The mission of this vessel is to survive going into orbit and returning to the Earth. Given that our last, if you remember, like, I don't know how many weeks ago I last did one of these. This is what we had last time, and it re-entered okay, if memory serves. After I did some changes to it to make it actually okay. But it was rather heavy. So this time what I want is to make something based on von Braun's 1948 plans, although rather scaled down. The real thing was supposed to take something like 10 tons to orbit as cargo. This will not be doing that by any stretch of the imagination. Alex Barrett. It's basically a cone with gigantic delta wings. And we tried to survive reentry based on low ballistic coefficient rather than anything so high-tech as heat shielding. 100% high-test peroxide, carrying 30 kilograms of it. That's not a lot. All right, so we need rather more. In the way of tankage for this. I guess what we could do is this. Why is it rotated slightly? That confuses me. Oh, I know why. That's why. There, now it's correct. That's rather a lot. Let's try bring this back. All right, that's, how much is this? There's 6 of them, 6 times 0.05 is 300 kilograms of propellant. That's an acceptable amount of propellant. All right, so this is an acceptable amount of on-orbit propellant, I think. I think we'll be okay. Right, so now we load this back up, and we're going to need some RCS. We're definitely going to need some RCS. Oops. Okay. Okay, that will provide us with pitch and yaw controls. That still leaves us with roll. Right now we have no actual means of roll authority. I guess, and actually that arrangement doesn't, yeah, that arrangement is not actually going to make sense because there's going to be wings there. So that's not actually going to work, is it? Let's add some wings. Spaceplane wings. Spaceplane wings. All right. Now. Spaceplane wings. That width is about right. The length needs to be way longer. Tip width needs to go to nearly nothing. Tip thickness needs to go to nearly nothing. Okay. No trailing edge and offset. Well, I guess that width is a bit much. Okay. Put this back on. About like that. All right. So that, oh, we don't need that much. 0.6 is probably fine. We're now rather heavy, and we've lost a lot of delta V. That is to be expected. That is indeed to be expected. Okay, that is the correct assortment. That is the correct alignment of engines. All right. So these tanks, which I thought sufficient before we had the wings, are now, of course, far insufficient. Well, that's enough for a retro kick, plus a bit of maneuvering capacity. All right. Although, of course, as we add more mass, this will get worse. I freely admit that this is a hilariously weird-looking thing, but okay. Now, let me just reacquaint myself with the 1948 version. Okay, so my cone is much, much narrower than the real thing, and it did not have tapered wings. It had basically untapered, not even really swept wings. Yeah. Yeah, it had a much blunter nose. Well, hopefully that will be okay. Also, I can't bear to not taper the wings, so we're going to taper the wings a little bit. Okay, so, and we'll go to an even 12 meters. All right. Now, our ballistic coefficient, what is our wing loading going to be? Let's find out. I guess actually I should put the control surfaces on first. Okay, and that's it's 2/3 of the diameter change, the thickness change, which was 240 minus 80 is 160. 60 times 0.67 is 107. All right, the thickness 107. All right. Now, root offset. That looks about right. Okay. And I have to fix the textures. I highly recommend anyone watching to look up the von Braun 1948 proposal for a ferry rocket, because this is basically going to be in that general direction. All right, so that's that much. I think that's about right. So. Okay, well, apparently we have to do that way then. So 107 to 80. Length is 4 meters. Take this back to 200. All right. Wrong way. That aligned quite well. Only this is slightly less than 4 meters actually. That's right. Okay. Now let's check our wing loading. I guess that this probably should narrow in just a bit. Like that. Okay. Okay. Our reference area is 91.2 meters. And that's 3,900 kilograms over 91.2 meters is just under 43 kilograms per square meter, which, if memory serves, is not quite in light plane range, but nearly there. Oh yes, it's lower wing loading than the Cessna 152. So good. That's like glider, nearing glider wing loading. So that's good. It's going to get worse from here because we're not going to add further wing area, but we are going to add tail surfaces. We're going to add the RCS. We're going to add all sorts of stuff. So that's not so awesome. But we do have a good starting wing loading. All right, so that does not that much change the center of mass. That's nice. Okay. These need to be roll only. Okie doke. Now, also these need to be pitch only. And I think we want so actually, instead of actuating these on spoiler, they're going to be spoilers, but I'm going to actuate them with flaps. For added control, because I don't want them to come on when the brake thing comes on. And these need to be full. Okay. Well, actually, we'll have them unmixed. Okay. Now, that does not mean we have a lot of aerodynamic stability, which means I think I'm going to have to put a little bit of lead ballast in this thing. And I'd really rather not, but them's the breaks. All right. Yeah, so that's I think about 80 kilograms of lead ballast. But that's enough to make us statically stable. So that's fine. let's narrow that. And even narrower. And that. All right. And that's 240 to 80, 2.5 meters. Okay, so this needs to come on here and go to 2.5 meters. And go to 240 and 80. Interesting, doesn't quite match up. But that's okay, this gives us a little bit of clearance. Offset, root. A little bit of clearance. And no, that's too much. That looks about right. And I think we're going to actually want even wider fins, like that. That seems about right. Now, %% yaw. Flap spoiler. We're going to activate spoilers and give them 40 degrees, I think. All right. Now that is probably not enough tail area, all things considered, but it will at least do for now as we examine how this works. Are we statically stable? We are statically stable. How nice. Spoilers activated. Oop, they're going in the wrong direction. All right. That's better. Okay. That will actually pitch us up slightly, which is interesting. Let's try full flaps. That also pitches us up slightly, which is as expected. Although interesting, look at that. Huh. Interesting. Interesting, interesting. That was not quite how I expected it to behave. All right, that is keeping us at a nice, what is this? 25, 5, 10, 15, 15 degrees angle of attack with no pitch. Let's try with full pitch, see what happens. Yep, that maintains almost 20 degrees angle of attack at Mach 15. So that's good. So this is going to make a decent reentry vehicle. It's worrying that we're not actually statically stable very much. But happily, this will be okay. Okay, and gliding, things look fairly decent. We actually have a decent CLCD curve. Yeah, we want to be about, what is that? CL So lift over drag max is at about 8 degrees. Okay. All right. Now, oh yes, remaining RCS. Okay, so these... Okay, that will provide a bit of... Do we actually... Oh, no, we... we don't actually need that, do we? We already have role authority from here. What we really need, and what we sort of can't have, which is tragic, is some kind of pitch authority. Because the center of mass is that far back. Why is the center of mass that far back? I guess because of all the high test peroxide there. Yeah, that would explain things, wouldn't it? Okay, so we have 628, so 629 liters of kerosene, and let's see. Okay, so let's start decreasing. Whoops. Let's get rid of that HTP we just added. Let's instead... no, we don't have any additional life support. Well, we'll have to put... HERF. So we clearly don't need that much HTP. All right. I guess we do kind of need that much HTP. All right. So yes, that does shift the center of mass back quite a bit, which is not awesome, but at least not as badly as before. So I guess what we'll do is we can put, I guess we have to put the pitch thrusters out here, basically. Which is really not how I would like to be pitching, but will have to be it. And we need something to provide down pitch, which apparently is going to be this. All right. And then we need a bit of yaw as well. Which I think will just have to be here. Okay. These things are all set for HTTP, are they not? They are. Great. Okay. So. And we can get rid of these extra tanks. Okay. So, we now have a space glider. I have no idea how it will perform. Let's get some landing gear on. We're probably going to have to use the mediums. Yeah, we're going to have to use the mediums. And yes, that's well aft of. Let's see. And absolute rotation, snap alignment. All right. Steering to off. Brakes to max. Okay, and then let's put the little itty bitty baby landing gear up here into nose. Okay. That should retract. Wow, that's okay. Well, that's quite a bit higher. Maybe we could get away with smalls back here. I don't know. That looks like it's going to have a tail strike pretty badly. Well, I guess we could kind of like half cheat by lowering these a little bit, so it's not quite at the center point. Yeah. All right. Maybe that will avoid a tail strike. Forgot. Right, let's see how this works. Probably not well. I wonder if this is wider than the runway. All right, well, let's see how this works. Oh, whoops, I forgot that these engines don't reignite. I gotta turn the sound up. I can't hear a thing. And presumably no one else can either. That's better. Whoops. Apparently we hit a speed bump. Nope. Our gear don't have sufficient clearance. And also the fact that this does need to rotate ever so slightly upwards. Okay, and these things come back. And come down a little bit. All right, that will give us slightly more clearance. This okay. Oops, we'll have a slightly shorter wheelbase, but the nose gear will be somewhat lower. All right, let's see what it looks like with them retracted. Very bulgy. Probably have to actually put them inside a wing to make them not burn. Okay, let's see how this works. Come on, pitch up. You can do it. It does not want to pitch up at all.
All right, fine. Infinite propellants. There we go. Reignited. All right. Gear retracted. And up and away we go. All right, it's got decent roll control. It's got decent pitch control. It actually flies fairly well, all things considered. It does look funny, but it doesn't have to look good to fly good. Certainly not going to go supersonic anytime soon. Man, it can pull 9 Gs of turn. 10 Gs? That's impressive. I guess it has more pitch authority than I thought. It's also not very statically stable, so that's part of it. It's part of why it's so maneuverable. It's rock solid. Okay, now it's supersonic. For a very short period of time, up here at almost 40,000 feet. Now it's subsonic again. Okay. Down to about 20,000 feet. Let's come right back around. Why do I not have throttle control? That's odd. UI master controller modal dialog. Well, I guess that makes sense. Why can I not adjust my throttle? That is an interesting bug. Locked. Let's try to land this thing. Due east. I really should have installed pilot assistance before I did this. Okay, so why is the throttle locked? Yeah. There's no input lock in effect. It's just not registering any throttle changes. Jeb's not like unconscious or something, is he? No. Or I wouldn't have pitch and roll authority. So why the heck did... we are now out over the ocean. There's the Space Center. Alright, so down pitch and brakes out. That drops our speed down nicely. Bit over 200 knots. Let's lower the gear. Alright, so we're definitely going to come in about 500 kilograms heavier than we should. But that's okay. We've got a lot of wing. I still don't understand why the throttle is broken. Nope, there is literally nothing that is going to fix that throttle. It makes no sense. Let's slow down a little bit more, shall we? Come on. Yeah, we're under 200 knots. The power of speed brakes. All right, 140 knots, about, give or take. All right. Now let's line up. I hope we fit on the runway. Well, getting a little slippy slidey here. .45 meters per second. Oh, come on. A lot of side slip. Come on. Don't run out of runway. All right. That's... yeah, we do not have enough yaw stability here. We very definitely did not have enough yaw stability. At low speed. At high speed we were okay, but at low speed we did not have enough yaw stability. And I still don't know why the throttle is so screwed up. No exceptions. Okay, well. Anyway, that worked, basically. Oh, feed pressure to, right, of course, that's true. Yes, because it requires, yeah. Right. That was why I had those extra tanks, was because these things required pressurized. Let's see, 30 units of lead ballast. gas, high test peroxide. Okay. Now they should not say that anymore. Yep, nominal. Okay. So that's good. So yes, this worked acceptably other than other than the issue with the limited yaw stability. Which I guess we just have to rectify this way. That looks about right. 3.5. Okay. That will give us some more yaw stability, which we apparently need. Let's look at toucan. All right, now these numbers are all green. That's better. All right. Okay. That should work. So yeah, that's another 1940s-esque reentry vehicle design. And with that, I think I will bring things to a close. So thanks everybody for watching. Glad to be back. And I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.